The soaring cost of cancer drugs has prompted a long list of doctors to voice their deep concern over the impact this cost is having on patients and their ability to take their prescribed medications. With more on this, WSJ Health and Science Deputy Bureau Chief Jeanne Whalen joins us. Jeanne, thanks so much for being with us.
Sure thing.
So cancer drugs have been rising pretty steadily, but last year saw a particular jump. Is that right?
Last year saw a big jump in overall drug prices. They rose 12% in the U.S., which was the biggest increase in a decade. Cancer drug prices have been among the fastest growing. They've, by some counts, grown 5 to 10-fold in 15 years. So big price increases.
And we're talking very expensive drugs. What is the average price per patient per year who has to take these drugs?
So typically above $100,000 a year now. Some of the newest are $150,000 a year. Also, some doctors are starting to prescribe these drugs in combinations. You take 2 of them at a time, so the costs, some doctors have warned, could go up to $300,000 a year.
Wow, and how much of that is covered by insurance typically?
So people who are insured are covered. Insurance industry has increasingly been shifting more of the cost burden to patients, so they've been increasing their out-of-pocket costs on these drugs. So some patients will have to pay, thousands of dollars a year.
So doctors are seeing their patients struggling, and they, for the first time, have gotten together, written an open letter.
Yes.
Some doctors actually accusing the pharmaceutical industry of greed. I want to read something here. What we're fighting is the greed and the additional maneuvering that is being exercised after you've already recouped what you've invested. There is no control, no regulation. So how does the pharmaceutical industry respond to this?
So they say that their medicines provide great value for money, they save lives, they extend lives, and also that they need to charge high prices to put back into R&D, which is expensive. I think nobody argues with those arguments, but it's just, it's the devil is in the details, and the prices here are so much higher than in other countries that many people think that they're abusing the U.S. market.
So this is the only country where these drugs are not regulated?
Right. This is the only country where pricing is not regulated. I don't want to say the only, but it's one of very few. In most other countries, state-run health systems regulate prices, put caps on them, drive hard bargains with companies.
So what are these American doctors, what are they recommending?
So they recommend, number one, that Medicare be allowed to negotiate drug prices directly with the pharmaceutical industry. Medicare is the biggest drug buyer in the U.S., and under a 2003 law, it's forbidden from actually negotiating or setting drug prices, which a lot of people say deprives it of its buying power to drive down prices.
Absolutely. And on the other side of this, the research that is ongoing for these drugs, it seems to be effective. These drugs are more effective than ever, correct? And they continue to be?
Many are, yes, many are. Some are not as effective as the companies would like you to think. Some may extend lives by a month or 2, which if you have cancer is very important, and I don't want to take that away from anyone. But the question is, how much should that cost? So there's a lot of difference in how well the drugs work, yet most of them seem to carry price tags above $100,000 a year.
I'm sure lots of patients are struggling to pay that.
They really are, yes.
All right, Jeanne Whalen, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.